Jesse James by Lauren Burgos. Jesse James' bold criminal life redefined robbery from tactics to targets to social perceptions, becoming one of the most successful and legendary outlaws in American history. New and improved. Robbing in daylight was almost never done, because at night you could get away with a lot because they didn't have very good lighting. Also, some tactics were that Jesse James' gang would split up. Some would go inside the bank to actually rob it, and others would stay outside to make it look like a casual day where nothing wrong was going on. Banks and railroads were not common places to be robbed. Railroads were new in America, so who would try and rob the banks? New thing. Well, obviously Jesse James did, and he was successful with it. Banks were usually owned by the government and by big companies, so that was his target. And conquering the new big thing made him legendary. This is a picture of Jesse James and his brother Frank and the younger brothers, known as the James Younger Gang. Jesse James was a part of guerrilla warfare during the Civil War. Guerrillas were fierce, mean, and brutal fighters. Bloody Bill took Jesse under his wing. Bloody Bill was a ruthless, mean, cruel man looking for blood. Jesse was fine with violence because of this, because he went into the guerrilla warfare when he was 16, and he used his training to help be successful in his robberies. How that helps is that Jesse James could get out of a tough situation because he had a great shot. He didn't mind shooting people that were in his way because he's been around violence for a long time, and he had confidence in his skills and he used them to his benefit. The picture on the left is of a proclamation from the governor of Missouri saying that there is a reward for Jesse James, dead or alive. The picture on the right is actually a picture of Jesse and Frank James. Jesse James was a legend during his time. He was a role model for other robbers. They used his tactics to have some of his success, but they obviously didn't get the same amount of success because they weren't him. They didn't have the same background as Jesse James did. People from the South loved him because he was robbing from Union banks and railroads. And people would provide food and support and housing for Jesse James and his gang when they were on the run. In conclusion, success was definitely a word in Jesse James' vocabulary. He used new tactics, he targeted new people, and for that he was loved by many. Rebelling during the time of peace was very bold, and it meant something. What did it mean? It meant I'm standing up for the South and what the South stands for. Fun fact, Jesse James was a loving father and husband. He was also killed by being shot in the back by one of his previous partners in crime. The end.